Welcome to my channel. Here's the thing. How is it that you can understand English, but you can't speak it fluently? Do you freeze when someone asks you an easy question in English? You know the words, you know the grammar, but nothing comes out. That's not your fault. There's no such thing as a belly brain or heart brain, actually, to your brain in your body. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Leave me a comment below. What's the single biggest challenge that you have when speaking English? Chapter 1. Why speaking feels so hard? It's not just you. I know what it's like to be quiet in the mouth and loud in the brain. You have what you want to say, but the word just isn't getting through. You pause. You freeze. You feel nervous. Your heart beats fast. You are thinking that you forget everything. And you think in that moment, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'll never talk in English. But I'll tell you, there's a story there. It's not your fault. You're not alone. Oh, and yes, you may speak English. You simply need to train your brain to think differently. When I first began to learn English, I could recognize a few words here and there, but I couldn't speak. I could read a sentence. I could write a sentence. But you know, when someone said, "How are you?" I didn't know what to say. I felt confused and slow. My brain was not in my language. I was translating every word. And when I finally wrapped my head around what I should have answered, the moment had passed. I felt embarrassed. I felt small. And I thought maybe there was something wrong with my English. But that wasn't true. I was just never taught to talk. We are taught to read and to write in our schools. They give us grammar books. They make us memorize rules, but they don't teach us how to speak. Speaking is different. Speaking is fast. Speaking is real. Speaking is life. You don't have the luxury of thinking about every rule. You don't have the luxury of the perfect word. You do have to say something now, but your brain is scared. It needs everything to be right. It wants you to be perfect. And that's the problem. Most of the learners are scared to speak up and commit errors. They believe they will be laughed at if they are not. They're worried they will appear ridiculous. So they stay quiet. They hold out until they're ready. But the reality is, you're never going to feel ready if you don't speak. Your brain learns to speak by speaking, not by waiting, not by only thinking, but instead by repeating the words. The first time I attempted to speak English to a stranger, I was in a shop. I wanted to buy a book. I knew the word book. I could think of the sentence, "I want this." But when I spied the shopkeeper, I got frightened. I forgot everything. I just pointed. He smiled and handed me the book. I felt bad. I wanted to speak. I wanted to use my words. I went home and cried a bit, but that moment changed me. I told myself, next time I'll say it. And I did. The next time I managed to say one sentence. The next time I said two. My words were not perfect. My grammar had mistakes, but I was speaking. And that's what matters. Because when you speak a foreign language, your brain speeds up. With each attempt, you've made your fear smaller. When you say something out loud, you get more conviction. Let me tell you one big truth. You don't need impeccable grammar to speak English. You don't need a large vocabulary. You don't have to sound like a native. You just need to speak. Just one little sentence can be a blast. Even, "How are you?" is a victory. So is, "My name is Allie." Your brain learns through repetition. The more you talk, the more your brain registers English as normal. So if you get stuck, if you get shy, if you feel like your own mouth won't work, just know you're not alone. Many people feel this way. It's not that you suck at English. What it means is that your brain needs training. The good news is you can train it. You can change it. And it is together that we will do that in the coming chapters. From now on, I want you to make me one promise. Don't look for the right moment. Not feeling like whispering to someone who speaks to you first. Start speaking now, even if it's only to yourself, even if it's just one word, because that little word would make a big change. Your English brain is holding. Let's wake it up. Let's train it. Chapter 2: How the Brain Learns to Speak. Your brain is amazing. It can learn anything. It just requires the proper method. When you were a baby, you didn't learn any grammar. You didn't use a textbook. You listened. You copied. You made sounds. And gradually, you began speaking. One word, then two, then full sentences. You made mistakes. But your parents were still smiling. They clapped. They encouraged you. That's how you acquired your first language naturally, not by thinking, but by doing. And this is how your brain likes to learn English as well. But now, plenty of learners try to learn a different way. They read big grammar books. They are making long lists of vocabulary. They attempt to memorize 50 of them in a day. But the moment they open their mouths, their mind goes blank. Why? Which makes sense. The brain is not a filing cabinet. It's a habit machine. It doesn't want you to recall rules. It wants you to taste the language, to use it, to say it over and over until it's automatic, like walking, like riding a bicycle. And then, once you train it, there it is on its own. Think about this. Do you say "good morning" and halt to translate it in your head? No. Your brain already knows it. You've all heard it before. You've said it so many times. Now it feels natural. This is the secret. Your brain gets good at what it does a lot. That's why the most overused words become your strongest. And those words you never say, your brain forgets them. So if you want to speak English naturally, don't learn all of the words. Just use the words you need again and again in small daily steps. I remember my own journey. I would write down any new words I came across. My notebook was full, but I couldn't speak. I knew opportunity and determination, but I didn't know, "Can I help you?" I saw I was acquiring it as a student, not as a speaker. So I changed my way. I started small. I was taught the words I spoke every day. I repeated them out loud. I applied those in very short sentences. I didn't worry about big words anymore. I focused on what I needed. That changed everything. The brain loves patterns. It listens. It copies. It makes connections. Hearing a sentence over and over makes the hearing stick. You repeat a sentence often enough, and your brain doesn't forget it. That's why listening and repeating is so strong. That's why shadowing works. When you copy the sounds, the rhythm, the emotion, You are charting a new course in your brain, a path that leads to fluency, a road that takes you to how to speak without fear. Your brain is also very fond of feelings. If it makes you laugh or cry, you remember it longer. That's why boring classes don't work. That's the reason English at school does not last. But if you see a funny video or a sad story, you know it word for word. Use this. Learn English with something that is close to your heart. A song, a cartoon, a podcast, a short story.